this one's fun. This is Sophie Scholl, I think that's her name. And the White Rose. She was a German student that was against the Nazis, so she was an anti-Nazi activist that would give out leaflets and do graffiti to inspire other German intellects and students not to participate in Nazi type of things so that they can get their education with books and other things that would, you know, bring them to enlightenment with the current politicians and things that were going on at the time. So it was a modern look at it. But the White Rose was an anti-Nazi movement at the University of München, I think it is, Germany. So that was right in the heart of Germany. So yeah, that was big around that time. Like, two kids started a movement to stop Nazi regime in their own country of Germany. So we have recognition. We have hypnotized. We have separation, endings, changing, or changes. I'm going to move this out a little bit. I get a little seasick. Okay, so we have secrets. We have wholehearted. Let's see. In denial about what was happening. We have patience, and we have a child service. It doesn't have to be child services. It can be child service. These kids took it upon themselves to run an anti-Nazi activism type thing around the 1920s. So it was good. It made sure that a lot of young people stayed away from becoming influenced by Nazis that were killing people and hurting people around that time. So see, everybody thinks that the Nazi regime was inspired by Germany, but a lot of things in Germany at the time were against that type of thing. So it's good to see history as it comes alive and see people that influenced history in their own way that people might not know about. We have the Lovers. We have self-love, passion, and relationships. We have a Ten of Pentacles with satisfaction and engagement. We have Star, which is hope, love, trust. And we have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is new energy and the desire to help. Then we have the Three of Pentacles with working with others, a business partnership. So this little group of people decided to become a big group of people and become activists against the war and the Nazi regime that was happening in their own country of Germany, which I think was fantastic. Alright, let's see what the cards have said and what I have meditated on for the past couple of weeks. Okay, so we have miracles and new beginnings. We have relates to the field of relationships, personalities, develops and says that the actions taken for a purpose of self-improvement can lead to solving your own problems and your own personal needs and who you are as a person. There is no need to go to unnecessary trainings or look out for the under the glass of things to search about, but it's just common sense. A cycle or phrase that will be coming to an end soon. Rewards coming from hard work and well done intentions. Do not fear the lack or loss of those in the ending or the conclusions will lead to auspicious new beginnings and opportunities to do or be your best self. Shows that you will be wise and set to new heights for yourself and belief that you are able to achieve what you set out to do. You need to be yourself and to achieve a tremendous success, trying to bring the best out in you and those others in return instead of joining the elites. The elites around that time were Nazis. So, let's see, encouraging you to put something aside for asking to secure your own future. Therefore, doing something meaningful that will be a positive effect from the spiritual perception. The age is of that's required to focus on putting something that will cater to you later on in your own life. In suggestion, you have room to practice a good reputation for yourself, so be patient on the goals that you have seemingly set in the long haul and embrace your life spiritually and never consider the negatives of what other people are doing. Tells you to pay special attention to your own dreams, daydreams, visions for the future, and recurring thoughts and feelings. Have self-beliefs and faith in yourself, your intuitive messages, and your inner prompting as you are receiving messages about your life purpose and your angels, encouraging you to follow your guidance and directions accordingly. You have all that you need within you to find success and personal fulfillment. I want you to take the breath and find some assurance that you are secure in your own finances or your own abundance right now before it is too late. So it's having people reconsider who they are as people. Spinning the block, the drive-by, the spy, curiosity, creation, falsehood, flowers, and green hearts. We have 7XM Casino. We have Yosemite Valley Plan. We also have Fort Chime Airport. Let's see. We have a Maximum. We also have a Catholic Church in here for some reason. We have crossed fingers, hope for good luck, and desire to overcome a situation. We have a crypto code or encryptions. We have a pandemic situation. We also have a hair. There's a quilting layering of bands of color, which it's talking about the Nazi symbol that they had on their shoulders, and how it was easier to avoid than it was to go to them. There's also buzzwords that were being used around the time, and there was peace, love, and joy within the community of students that were doing this, and a lot of encouragement. Let's see. There was something about a kazoo. I'm not sure if it's a noise or a siren, but there's something about a kazoo here for some reason. There's also a logo type for Denmark and Sweden around this time. I don't know what that was about either. I didn't really research too much past the White Rose establishment. I think I know more about the White Rose than I knew about Sweden and Denmark's play in World War II. Okay, so just a heads up. If you know about it, then that's fine. But I think it's good to research some of these things that I talk about on here so you know more in depth of what it's talking about. But I'm kind of leading you down like the whole rabbit hole, because if I go down the rabbit hole, I'm not coming out. It's going to be an Alice in Wonderland trip, and there'll be like 40 pieces to the puzzle, you know. But yeah, Denmark and Sweden with logotypes and hideaways. All is well that ends well. That was channeled. There's primary health care here. I think it was a subject of conflict because it happened during the war, which I found was weird. Like, primary health care became a big issue in Germany. Um, and then there's a feminine agreement to share everything that was happening with the war. These German children were aware of what was happening in the war, people by name, things like that, and a few other things, which was interesting, that was like on a need to know basis. There was kid spies that knew about like the recruiting hours of certain areas of the country and all that, and they were trying to influence students not to join the Nazi regime. So it was a lot. It took a lot of things there. Also, there's a water issue around this time with submarines. I don't know why. There was a submarine issue in a canal or in that little sea. I think it was the Mediterranean Sea. Or the it's around Germany, I know that much, but there was something wrong with the water around that time. I didn't go into too much details, but I was channeling and I was like, there's a lot of boats out here, you know, submarines. But yeah, I just feel like there was like no way in, no way out type of thing. It's kind of like a Wonka reference, I guess. Nobody ever goes in, nobody ever goes out. Um, but yeah, it seemed like the canals, waterways, and everything were clogged with stuff. But yeah, around this time, it's weird that they never talked about the White Rose organization. They talked about World War II in school. They talked about World War One. They talked about weapons. They talked about all this, but they never talk about the products that came out of the wars or the missions to stop the war, stop certain sides in their own countries, their own vicinities, and people kind of avoiding it. There's probably more White Rose organizations that happened around World War II, but as a deep dive, I'm not going to go through all the specs and everything that was happening um, point by point. We'll be here until like the end of generations. But yeah, I'm sure that there was more organizations like the White Rose that stopped a lot of wars throughout the years. It would stop recruitment and things happening to young people and things around that time too, and just a lot of other things. There's always like um, some underlying theme with the war and like the agendas and narratives that they were playing at, but they never talk about like the smaller groups that were produced because of a need of an anti this or an anti that, you know. So I think it should be talked about more often because it is part of history, and it would help a lot of people to see both sides of the spectrum, and see where like they can start a movement or an activism type of deal to help people out and know that they have options. But you know, even now it's like you don't hear too much about like knowledge you need to know about a situation. You know enough to make a decision, but you don't know the whole story. It's really kind of a bad thing. But yeah, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you know, the more you can make your own conclusions from things, which is good. Anyway, hopefully this helps somebody out and you feel the need to look up more about the White Rose Society organization. And yeah, really get into it. I mean, history's great. I was never big in history when I was younger, but when I grew up, I was like, this is pretty cool. But you have to have that curiosity in your mind to kind of look this stuff up, you know. And if you're pointed in the right direction, it makes history come alive. Like you can see yourself in it, you know. Anyway, I will see you in the next reading. Take care of yourselves and take care of everyone. Alright, later.